Take a look in your wallet right now. Chances are you've got a piece of plastic in there, or, maybe one of those heavy metal cards that feels like an absolute magic trick. It promises you quote-unquote free travel, fancy airport lounge access, and these massive upfront cash bonuses, all just for swiping it at the grocery store. Sounds completely incredible, right? Almost like they're just handing out free money. But in today's explainer, we're going to dig into the data and pull back the curtain on this whole dazzling illusion. Because behind all those shiny perks, it's not a giveaway. It is a highly engineered corporate strategy. We're going to decode exactly how this premium credit card machine actually works, who is literally paying for your flights, and how the entire system is set up. Let's get right into it.
First up, Section 1, the trillion-dollar machine. To really understand the game, we got to look at the sheer, mind-boggling scale of the playing field. Get this, $1.25 trillion. Trillion with a T. That is exactly where U.S. credit card debt stood in the first quarter of 2026. And what's absolutely wild here is that even after the usual seasonal dip, those balances were still 5.9% higher than they were exactly a year earlier. So what does this tell us? It proves the revolving credit machine in the U.S. is as massive as it has ever been. The banks are sitting on this gigantic mountain of revolving debt, and that exact mountain sets the stage for the crazy premium card wars we're seeing right now.
Now, it's super fascinating to watch how aggressively the economics at the very top of the market are being completely repriced right in front of our eyes. Take JP Morgan Chase, for example. They are resetting the annual fee on their flagship Chase Sapphire Reserve card for 2025. It's jumping from $550 all the way up to $795. Oh, and if you want to add an authorized user, that fee is jumping to $195. The price of admission is literally skyrocketing. But how can they charge that much? Well, Chase tied this Sapphire Reserve overhaul to more than $2,700 in claimed annual value and perks. Think about what that actually means for a second. These premium cards, they're not just simple payment tools anymore. The whole concept has completely transformed. They are now highly engineered subscription products, cleverly disguised as travel benefits. You aren't just paying an annual fee. You're buying into a lifestyle subscription.
Which brings us to Section 2, the hidden profit mechanics.
So how on earth do the banks actually fund these unbelievable sign-up bonuses, the lounge access, and those hundreds of dollars in statement credits? Well, they're pulling in cash from multiple directions simultaneously. Let's walk through this. First off, and Brookings actually highlighted this, the core economics of modern credit cards heavily rely on merchant swipe fees. Every single time you tap or swipe, the merchant pays a fee, usually around 3 to 5%. The issuer grabs a chunk of that revenue to directly fund your cash back in your miles. Second, they're collecting those massive annual fees we just talked about. Third, they rake in massive interest from the users who carry a balance month to month. And fourth, they rely on a little industry secret called breakage.
So what is breakage? This is absolutely crucial to understand. Breakage is basically bank jargon for when your rewards go entirely unused or when you redeem them inefficiently. Think about the crazy irony here for a second. You sign up for this card specifically for the amazing perks, but the banks literally build their multi-million-dollar profit models around the statistical expectation that you won't actually use all of them. It's a fundamental pillar of their math.
This creates what economists like to call a two-sided market. It's a classic tug-of-war. On one side, you have the banks. They're more than happy to dangle these huge sign-up bonuses as bait to catch spend-heavy customers who pay on time. Why? Because those specific customers generate highly profitable transaction volume through those swipe fees, even if they never pay a single cent in interest. Then, on the other side, you have us, the consumers. We're hunting for the biggest upfront bonuses and trying to squeeze out maximum reward value. It's a really delicate balancing act.
So, moving on to Section 3, exploiting the system.
What happens when consumers get, well, a little too good at this balancing act? They find a glitch in the matrix, and that glitch is called churning. Churning is when a user intentionally exploits an issuer's massive customer acquisition budget. They swoop in, snag that upfront bonus loot, and then they completely cancel or stop using the card before the bank can actually make their money back on the subscription over the long term. Basically, they take the marketing dollars and run.
And that leads us to Section 4, when banks lose millions.
Because when thousands of people start churning at the same time, the bank's math totally breaks. It turns into this high-stakes, multi-million-dollar battlefield. Let's rewind to the launch of the Chase Sapphire Reserve, because it's a textbook case study. Initially, JP Morgan was modeling a very healthy quarterly profit of $500 million. Right during the card's launch window.
But pretty much immediately, they had to slash that profit expectation down to $300 million. That is a massive $200 million haircut just wiped straight off their profit projections. No small change.
So what caused this massive drop? Well, it was their own generosity. The culprit was launching with a staggering 100,000-point bonus, lounge access, and incredibly generous travel credits. The exact same rewards that made consumers lose their minds and rush to sign up were literally breaking the bank's initial economic models. They were just too good.
And by the way, this wasn't just a one-off thing. Fast forward to 2018, and JP Morgan actually had to publicly disclose a $330 million charge. The reason? Super users were cashing in their points way faster than the bank's algorithms had predicted. This was a concrete, massive financial hit showing just how incredibly expensive premium rewards programs can get compared to what banks originally model. So, how on earth do issuers respond to losses like that? This is where it gets really interesting. They definitely don't abandon the rewards model. Look at the core issue. High-value super users redeeming rewards too fast. And then look at Chase's 2025 response that we talked about earlier, raising the annual fee to $795 and bumping the authorized user fee to $195. Instead of killing the golden goose, they just deal with these high-value users by significantly raising the price of entry for absolutely everyone else.
All right, final section. Section 5, who really pays for perks?
Let's decode the ultimate reality of this whole system for the everyday consumer. This core thesis right here is absolutely crucial. Credit card churning is not free travel. It is a transfer of issuer marketing dollars into consumer value. That is the advanced lesson you need to take away from this. If you want to win this game, you have to understand there is no magic money tree. The math only works when you realize exactly where the bank's profit pool is coming from. Merchant swipe fees, those massive annual fees, and unfortunately, other users paying interest.
See, while the average person is completely distracted by the shiny 100,000-point headline bonus, the banks are quietly executing this finely tuned portfolio strategy. They are hunting for their perfect, ideal customer profile. They want high spenders who never default, always pay on time, and, here's the kicker, carry zero debt. They monetize these specific users incredibly efficiently through just merchant swipe fees and annual fees without ever having to rely on interest.
So if you step back and look at all this data, the smartest interpretation is that premium travel cards are essentially a corporate customer acquisition battlefield. They are absolutely not a consumer giveaway. The more your personal financial habits mirror their ideal customer, somebody who spends heavily but carries absolutely no debt, the more likely you are to extract outsized, massive value from this highly engineered system. Which leaves us with one final, incredibly important thought to chew on the next time you pull that heavy metal card out of your wallet. Knowing everything we've just uncovered about breakage, swipe fees, and the real cost behind these lifestyle subscriptions, are you playing the bank or are they playing you?